So good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the Standing Committee of Council meeting to order for December 1st, 2025. You have before you a copy of tonight's agenda. I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Councillor Lagusta, seconded by Councillor Gagne. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 3 is any declarations of interest tonight? None noted. Moving on to item number 4, announcements, awards, ceremonies, and presentations. Anything from council? Go ahead, Councillor Wall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say a really awesome kudos to the planning committee for the parade. We had like 34 floats. It was amazing. I think it's the longest parade I've ever seen in Hay River. So good job. Businesses who were engaged and schools, and there was a whole group of people out there. So good job, Hay River.
Thank you. Anything further from council? Go ahead, Councillor Duford.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to say again that the town was bustling this weekend with the hockey tournament and the Scott McAdam badminton tournament. Yeah, that's right. And it was so nice to see all the kids here. And again, a good job to the kudos to the rec committee and to the schools for putting on. And everyone had a wonderful time.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything further from council? Anything from administration? Nothing from administration. Okay, so item number 5, information only, is the council liaison reports. I'll start with Councillor Duford.
Thank you again, Your Worship. Speaking on behalf of the youth, things going on in town. People are starting to celebrate Christmas now and getting ready to close down. The Friendship Center and the Youth Center are having Christmas parties coming up and will both be closed between December 20th and January the 5th. And we are very lucky to have our, again, Recreation Center taking up the slack for people. And coming up in the new year, we've been speaking, a few of us, about maybe starting something new where every few months all of the different youth groups, because there's quite a few of us now, getting together and doing something together, like how the town and the Métis Association in West Point were doing things. So we're going to be reaching out to a few organizations in the new year, like the ski club, perhaps the rec center, to see if every few months we all want to pool our resources and staff and throw something on for the kids. And the idea is that we want to do some let people see, you know, if there's people that take music lessons that have never been to the ski club, or there could be skiers that have never been to the youth center. We all have our very little pools of people that come, so we want to encourage them to see what all Hay River has to offer. Perhaps do something online where we have one central spot where people can go in and see what's going on. So just some exciting things coming in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So just a few notes on the ski club. We had our open house on the 22nd, and we had a record breaker. I think we had 45 people out, which is quite a bit for us. And we also had another evening eco-aim night, adventure ladies night, and we had 12 ladies out, and we showed them how you do biathlon, and they had laser guns, and it was really fun. It was a really good evening. So thank you to Jordan at the town for liaisoning there. And that's the ski club. The Rotary Club, as Tom had mentioned before, or Councillor Lacusta, that it's about to shut down, and they just had a meeting recently to just kind of finish tight loose ends and make sure everything is where it should be. And the Beautification Committee, I haven't met with them yet, but they have been busy all year. But now I think they're taking a rest. The next project is to do the window in the Jane Groenwagen's building, and they're going to do a winter wonderland theme there. So kudos to them. So There you go.
Thank you. Councillor Lacusta.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, the only update is the library is having its Christmas concert function on, I believe it's December 15th. So all those people interested, mark that in your calendar. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, on the rec side, a few other councillors have mentioned, been a pretty busy couple of weeks at the rec center with hockey tournaments and hosting events. The Métis meetings were held at the rec center there a couple weeks ago now, or I don't even know what week we're in, a couple weeks ago, and then back-to-back weekends, hockey tournaments, back-to-back, and big swim meet there that happened as well, and then we've got a rec meeting next week as well. So good job on to everyone on the rec staff, and it's great to see that facility as busy as it has been. Been spending quite a bit of time there, and it's always a lot going on, so it's great to see.
Thank you. Councillor Gagne.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Update on the seniors. Their Christmas party is on the 14th. I think it's a brunch this year. They are in the process of applying for a few grants to help them with various things, cab rides, food, other things they have on the go. They're going to update me after they've completed and been approved or not, and for what, as we move into the new year. But it's like everyone else, they're winding down, going to do their Christmas brunch, and then everybody's doing the Christmas thing, so not much is going on over that way. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor Squirrel, go ahead.
Merci trop, Madame Mayor. I don't have a whole lot to report on right now, but hopefully next month I'll have more to say.
Thank you.
Merci.
I do have one update, and that is that we met with members of KFN last week, the SAO and myself, over numerous issues that involve both our communities or regarding both communities. So good stuff coming out of that, and look forward to our next meeting. So we will be meeting with them at least quarterly. Okay. So moving on to item number 6, administrative inquiries, and I'm going to pass it over to SAO Smith.
Thanks, Your Worship. As you can see, myself and Director of Corporate Services here today for the Standing Committee meeting. So we'll provide brief updates on what's happening with the other departments. So I'll start, and I'll start with Recreation and Community Services, as already mentioned by multiple councillors. The praise for the Santa Claus Parade. I think actually for the official count of counting multiple vehicles by, say, the fire department and others, we were up to over 47 floats and entrants, including council and the mayor, who led the procession there. So it was, talking to everyone, as you mentioned, a great success, and just really impressive and good to see, and to get some good news out there, which we did. Also shared we live streamed the lineup. We also had some drone footage that we recorded just to document it. We've been able to share that through our social media. It's on our YouTube channel, the drone footage. We also got some traditional media coverage as well. So always important to capture that, share a little social conversation, get it beyond our network. I think the videos were shared like over 8,000 times, or viewed over 8,000 times the last time I looked at the Facebook one. Big thanks to the recreation staff. And others. Public Works had a entrance in the parade as well, and fire department, of course. But Lena Nason from the rec center and Jill Morse, they go out and they convince people that they must enter, so to speak, and that goes a long way still for every type of organization in town, and a lot of competition in that rec department. So we're already talking about challenging Yellowknife next year. Busy weekend at the community center, as mentioned. I think the Swim Club competition had at least expected about 50 registrants. I'm not sure if they all made it down, but coming from other communities, of course. Festival of Trees is kicking off this weekend at the community center, so just part of several holiday season activities being hosted there. in combination with some coordination from the town, but also other community groups. One of those other programs is the annual holiday swim and skate program that will again be offered this year. The town here coordinates that, and we seek sponsorship from local businesses and organizations and council members. So programming can be provided at no cost and bringing a lot of revenue into that department as well. So again, yeah, competitive rec staff there. I think they're seeking to break their record of total number of sponsorships and hours being offered this year. I know they're currently at over 61 hours of sponsored programming time. A note, some communications went out today on Facebook about the Ray Benoit rink, which is at the Inukshuk Park. So there's been some damages that have been sustained to the kind of the arena board system there, which was aging, and yeah, anyways, there's missing panels, some vandalism, things like that. We're suggesting not improving or fixing those right now because we are looking at a capital project that's in your capital plan towards replacing the board systems and other enhancements in that park starting next year, pending budget approval. A note that we will be still offering an outdoor rink. It's just going to be installed, but with a snow border, so waiting to get a little snow. It's snowing right now. And some access changes are going to be made to the park as well. It's part of the vandalism probably tied to, but at least related to a lot of kind of suspected drug activity in that area. So it's been an issue for the last couple of years. And again, your plan for enhancements to Inukshuk Park include enhanced lighting, cameras, things like that to combat some of those issues. But there'll be some other temporary entrances established. I'll just continue on, and then maybe at the end you can ask any questions. For protective services, just a small note there. The big event happening for them this week is preparations for this weekend's annual Fireman's Ball. So it's the 67th annual ball celebrating the 75th years of service for the Hay River Fire Department. So kind of a milestone event, and this year's activities are going to be hosted at our wonderful Fisherman's Wharf Pavilion. A few things on infrastructure and planning services, which I'm continuing to act as the director on that department. So the water advisory, the latest results of the drinking water testing were issued on November 24th. The results showed the THM levels below the 100, I think it's micrograms per liter threshold at all of our testing locations. So that's good news. However, Public Health uses a 12-month running average threshold on determining the THM water allowances, and they're taking it now at our worst locations because we had kind of an average of them. So our 12-month running average for the underground reservoir is sitting at 105 micrograms per liter, so it's 5% above the threshold. And we have another test coming up, I think, on December 15th. So we're still working closely with Public Health, MACA, and some private entities just to implement some adjustments to the treatment. That includes the adjustment of chlorine, introduction of some new chemicals, and aeration of the underground reservoir. So we've done some of this already. Some more is occurring this week, next week, I think. So we did get public communications on that update out that included the meetings of Facebook, the Town of Hay River website, and posters, as well as, again, some of the traditional media picked up our information. And that included the November results, but the webpage now includes communications that list testing results, an outline of risks and precautionary measures for residents. There's an FAQ on there, and it lists some of the actions that we're undertaking. So the idea is to update when we get our next results on the 15th. We'll push those out, but continue to keep people aware, probably on a monthly basis, of what's happening. Pretty busy on the planning development side, at least on the planning side. We did release this week through our website and Facebook channels information on CMHC's recently produced housing design catalog. So as part of our Housing Accelerator Fund, we were working with CMHC on that. So this is something that's been released nationally and has over 50 designs of houses, including accessory dwelling units and some multifamily, which are really what your strategic housing plan points towards needing in Hay River. But yeah, those designs are intended to streamline the design and permitting process, in addition to reducing any cost. The town has now entered into a planning consulting agreement as of last week to produce a community climate adaptation plan. So this plan is intended to explore related risks for community and development of actions that will increase our ability to understand, respond to, and recover from climate change type impacts. So the plan, which is funded by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, will kick off, I think, in a couple weeks from now, and I think we're expected to see it completed by September. And certainly that plan will help us with other funding opportunities that are tied into climate change actions. One update on capital projects, kind of in that slow season right now, but the Airport Road elevation project to lift that road and do some other flood mitigation work. They're starting our geotechnical work next week, we believe. So that work will involve drilling in the area, and notices are being delivered to the residents that are in that area. And a bit of an update on Public Works Division. So our solid waste management procedures at the landfill remain impacted as we seek to replace our landfill compactor. So it's been out of commission for a while now. We have been renting a dozer to help with compaction needs, which will cause some budget impacts. But we do hope to have that replacement compactor purchased this week and delivered in the new year. Also, we're waiting on the delivery of our new sanding unit, which was purchased some time ago. There was some long lead times with that, but we expect to have it by the beginning of January. So in the interim, the town has been using alternative equipment and measures, I'll say, to sanding areas of town. And maybe I'll just see, well, maybe I'll ask if there's any questions first.
Any questions from council? Councillor Lacusta, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the update, SAO. I guess a couple things. One is just wanted to confirm that the climate change adaptation plan that you said just started is, you said it's going to be ready in December. I'm assuming December 2026, just for confirmation. And my understanding of THM levels, although it is very minor, is that it's linked with the organics coming into our intake. Has there been any talk about how to lessen organics coming into our intake water? And I guess the third question, if I may, is the compactor, was that $600K? Is that what the price of the compactor is? Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
SAO Smith, go ahead.
Thanks, Your Worship. So the adaptation plan, sorry, just to clarify, we're kicking off that project this month, but will be completed in September 2026. With respect to the THMs, yeah, so it is produced from chlorine interacting with organics that are in the water system, and some of that can be produced on the intake side, just naturally occurring through the water systems. And sometimes it can see some growth just throughout your distribution system. So we were seeing high levels on the intake side, supply side of the water treatment plant. But we do see various levels throughout the system, so it varies at one end compared to another end. It's usually the ends of your lines that are higher. But how to lessen it on the intake side, much more challenging. Really, you're dealt with, things such as plumes of organics and algae that are occurring. We think these levels may be influenced by the low water situations and some of that growth and warmer waters that we're seeing. But yeah, the key thing there is really advancing filtration systems, such as what are proposed in the new water treatment plant. So our focus is really on what we're seeing through the treatment process after the intake. We are looking at, not included in your budget though, I will say, the potential for a intake inspection, just to see if there might be any damages or concerns with it. It was last looked at in 2021. Nothing was identified then, but it needs a more thorough, probably review now at this point. So yeah, so there's discussions right now through this process on it, and something we'll keep council informed of as we move forward. And the compactor, yeah, I think it was about 600,000 was the approved budget, maybe a bit more than that. We do expect the price to be under that. We've gone, I think as council known, went out to the market for used options. We found a used piece of equipment in a very limited market. And we've done full inspections on it through third parties. And there's some concerns that we want to identify or address through some repairs and also addition of warranty. So that's all been settled now, and we should purchase it this week, hopefully.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Go ahead, Councillor Squirrel.
Merci trop, Madame Mayor. My question is in regards to the solid waste tipping fee increase. One of the reasons that I see here is to create sustainable waste management programs. Is one of the programs like the cardboard recycle program? Is that what's included in here, or is there any other programs? Like I guess what I'm asking is, what are the sustainable waste management programs that we have on the go right now?
SAO Smith.
Yeah, thanks. And we can touch on some of this more as we get into the budget discussion, which is, I think, what Councillor Squirrel is referring to in that. The primary focus has been to look towards the future through a new solid waste facility. So some of that money is certainly identified in the capital budget that's in front of you today, but also some of the on the O&M side, there is the inclusion of a solid waste management plan, which is intended to engage with the community and look at opportunities for more modernized recyclables and diversion and options such as cardboard reuse and composting along those lines. So it's looking at that and how to make things more efficient. But the idea there is advancing it so that that can be incorporated into the design of the new solid waste facility.
Thank you. Anything further from council? Nothing noted. Back to SAO Smith.
Okay. Anything you want to add other than budget?
I guess I could. I just have a quick update. So yes, our primary focus has been and continues to be on the operations and maintenance and capital budgets. A lot of work and preparation has gone into this presentation, so I just want to give a shout out to all of our management and staff for all the work that they put into it to prepare what's in front of you this evening. Next on our list is our Q3 variance reporting, along with the request for proposals for audit services that will be brought to the Finance Committee next week before being brought forward here to Council. So that's all I have for this evening.
So far. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 7, new
Oh, I
business.
got, sorry,
Oh,
a few things.
back to SAO Smith.
Sorry. You know what, I'll drag on any meeting. Just a few things out of my office. So economic development strategy. So the Economic Development Committee is meeting this Wednesday to make a recommendation, hopefully to council, to adopt the community economic development strategy. And they're also going to receive a presentation on Cando's Arctic Nexus project, which I understand is intended to bridge a gap between rail and truck transport for the north. That community economic development strategy, we've added a standing committee meeting next week, and our consultant will present that plan. Just thinking it's important to have that in front of council as part of, what is an important element of your strategic plan and even consideration of budget that you're looking at right now. The mayor mentioned already about the meetings with KFN and Town of Hay River. Just for some specifics on what we talked about, water treatment, current treatment, and also potential for partnerships or at least interest in the water treatment plant that serves their community. I know the chief did say she'll be lobbying for that in her trip to Ottawa this week as we look for major funding for that asset that's really a regional benefit. We also talked about solid waste management, the current state, and where we're looking at land and how we need to move that project forward. Mutual aid agreements were discussed, such as the opportunity for supporting protective services and their needs at KFN. We talked about the Old Nifty area land development, Pine Point Mine, flood mapping and development standards. And of course, we took the opportunity to talk about reconciliation activities. I think I mentioned before that we were going to submit 3 proposals to Cannor for through their recent call for expression of interest. So those were submitted, and yeah, they're meant to support your agri-sector development, downtown enhancements, and implementation of the economic development plan. A note that MACA has provided written notice that they will soon be releasing a call for applications from local governments for the Territorial Canadian Housing and Infrastructure Fund. This is the big infrastructure fund that we see in front of us and have been preparing for outside of the water treatment plant, which is a direct application to Canada for that fund. But they're announcing that they are hoping to have agreements in place by the end of March. So the town's prioritized a few projects previously through a short list to MACA, and we're in pretty good shape, I'd say, to submit applications depending on how much money they think they might have available. The new solid waste facility was at the top of that list, again with the water treatment plant going through a different stream. I did meet with the high-rise owner. I think there were some questions from council at a meeting I wasn't at recently, but I had a meeting with them just to talk about some of the work that's ongoing there now, which is really just a cleanup, and they're doing some roof repairs, which they have permits for. They continue to look for financing to support future repairs and improvement to the building, but nothing concrete right now. Probably can't get into too much details just with that private relationship, but I did ask them about an interest in meeting with Housing NWT just to talk about their housing strategies and plans. We're starting to hear some of it with the singles apartment that's being replaced. It's already out for tender, and Riverview Lodge type needs. So I think it's important that, and I recommend that council continues to have those discussions with the GNWT on community solutions for housing that includes existing infrastructure, such as the high-rise, and I mean, there's vacant motels in town too. So, where are those conversations with the private sector on opportunities that can benefit the community and hopefully reduce costs along the way. So they're very open to those conversations, and I'll discuss more with the mayor about helping bridge those conversations. Little note, we did put out a shop local, just a small little note on Facebook page to buy local for the holiday season. We also included promotional awareness of the Moonlight Madness shopping event this past Friday, as did the chamber. And I attended the LGANT conference. That's the Local Government Administrators of the Northwest Territories conference a couple weeks ago in Betchico. It attracts SAOs, GNWT departments, federal departments. Just a really good opportunity to network. There's lots of conversations that I have, and those parties are interested in having with us. So good networking event, many connections, including funding conversations for our major projects. And I'll close with just a note on the Twinkle Tour that council is typically involved with from year to year, or yearly at the end of December. Our council administrator is now planning for that, but has reworked it into an online competition. Correct? Okay, so The thought is to have nominations go online, create more community participation in voting, and yeah, so much more than just a tour around and not involving some of what's going on. So the public will be much more involved through an online voting of their favorite displays.
Perfect.
You're off the hook.
Okay.
That's it.
Everything?
Any
Any
questions?
questions for our SAO guys? You really are off the hook as well. Okay, so moving on to item number 7, which is new business. 7A is an excused absence for Councillor Willows. We for a motion, Councillor Dufert, seconded by, Deputy Mayor. Any questions to the motion? Agreed to take forward? Thank you. 7B is our 2026 O&M and capital budget. And before I pass this over, just a huge shout out to Glenn and Blair and all the hard work, to the Finance Committee for theirs input and hours that we've spent on this. So yeah, it was a long journey, but here we are, and it's good results. And I'm going to pass it over to our Vice Chair of the Finance Committee for a couple comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So, yeah, the Finance Committee met twice last week, over 4 hours of going through the budget. We dedicated a significant time to reviewing this, more so than in previous years, is what Brian said. Perhaps I'll agree with him. We evaluated all the options, carefully considered the community's service needs, as well as the impact of cost of living, the inflation, and our goal was to identify a balanced and sustainable financial plan. So, few things worth mentioning. Expenses down $747,000 from last year. And then, of course, there'll be discussion about the tax increase. So, you know, just a note, we started at 7% and we got down there. So we were happy with what's come out here.
Thank you. Okay, so I need a motion. Councillor Dufert, seconded by Councillor Gagne. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to our SAO and for comments from our SAO and Finance.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to pass it over to Blair, Director of Corporate Services, who's taken the lead on the budget. But maybe just a quick introduction or a few notes. I wanted to echo those thoughts. The big thanks to the Director of Corporate Services, senior management, and staff for their investment and time in the 2026 budget process. It's difficult to manage that with all the day-to-day as well. In addition, thanks to the Finance Committee for their governance through the budget cycles to date. I think in challenging some of the assumptions and calculations of administration and just ensuring that proper alignment of what's been proposed with the expressed goals at Council. They certainly spent many hours and meetings through reviewing materials, meetings, and deliberations ahead of bringing this most recent cycle to Council. I'd also like to I think it's worth thanking the public for their participation, not only in the survey that we sent out, the 2026 survey, but a reminder that, you know, through a lot of their participation on our various committees of Council and in public engagement sessions that were used previously to shape town council plans and that resulting strategy and the resulting strategies. And really the implementation of that is through the supported 2026 budgets. Yeah, just to mention the 2026 O&M capital budgets are administration and the Finance Committee's best estimate towards supporting the operational plans and strategies approved by Council. Director of Corporate Services is going to highlight many of those strategies in the presentation. I think it's worth noting as well that there's no incorporated reduction of services identified so far by Council or suggested by administration. The budgets really reflect those operational needs as we see it and the town's strategic commitment to meeting what's in today's challenges and preparing for tomorrow's opportunities. They acknowledge the national inflationary pressures, maybe I won't say it again, inflammation as well. Some of the pressures on the declining territorial economies, climate change has been and continues to be a big impact. A lot of social needs in the community that you're facing, and really, again, that persistent underfunding of municipal operations and infrastructure by other levels of government. Administration certainly does continue to sound the alarm surrounding the severe underfunding of the necessary capital asset replacements, not only in 2026, but throughout your 10-year plan and perhaps beyond that. The O&M budget does propose a $2.4 million allocation to capital reserves, which is definitely our highest in many years, if not ever, and also which is also an increase of $200,000 from the prior year. So it's in part achieved through reduction in operational expenses, as Councillor Gagne mentioned, the $750,000 reduction in expenses from 2025, but also through increases in taxation and user pay fees. I will say it's essential that the town establish strategic partnerships with other governments, including our local Indigenous governments, to create a more sustainable future for our organization and really the community of Hay River. So the 2026 budget does assign resources to advancing these critical relationships. And I'll pass it on to Blair for the presentation.
Okay, so as is on your screen there tonight, this is cycle 2 of the 2026 budget. Instead of going line by line in detail through, I'll just provide a high level summary of what is in the presentation. The details are in the slide. But I'll go through and highlight the strategic alignment, key operational and capital investments, and the financial choices that are required to support a sustainable and resilient future for Hay River through this budget. Slides 3 to 7 talk about the fund accounts, how the town is organized when it comes to its financial structure. Once again, the details are in the slides, but just basically it's organized into a general fund, utility fund, and land fund, as well as reserves, all established by bylaw, and together they ensure transparent and accountable tracking of all municipal operations. Slides 8 to 11 talks about the financial management and planning process, how the town's budgeting framework, the annual budgeting, financial statements, planning cycle are all anchored in council priorities, long-term capital planning, and community input. One of the things that we wanted to highlight for council is on from slides 12 to 15, which is the strategic plan alignment. Council put a lot of work into the strategic plan, and this budget directly supports each of the 4 pillars of the strategic plan. At a high level, I'll summarize it. One of the pillars is a sustainable community. So this budget has investment in water, sewer, drainage, flood mitigation, climate adaptation, and solid waste modernization. Another pillar is a community for everyone, and this budget has enhanced healthy communities programming, cultural initiatives, strengthened partnerships with Indigenous governments, as has already been mentioned. Another focus of the strategic plan is a thriving economy. This budget has added resources for economic development, including support for commercial fishing revitalization, business support, agriculture planning, and preparing for Pine Point related growth. And lastly, effective governance. So this budget focuses on the expansion of the health and safety system, recruitment, retention initiatives, improved communications, and the development of revenue studies and asset management systems. All these things are built into the budget to support that strategic plan that council worked so hard on. Slide 16 and 17 gives the survey, budget survey results. We received 87 respondents this year compared to 82 last year, pretty similar numbers. And once again, the detail is in there. And while it's not a quantitative sample, it does provide some valuable insight. There's a lot of attention towards roads and sidewalks, water and sewer priorities, and broader community concerns like housing, cost of living, and economic opportunity. And those things were taken into consideration when building this budget. Moving on to the highlights for the O&M side of the budget. When it comes to fees and charges, there is moderate inflationary increases to the water and sewer, continued waste processing levy and tipping fee adjustments. Some of them are already in bylaw, others will need to come to council by means of bylaw for adjustment. There's also the reintroduction of the summer water rate to support beautification during drought periods. That it was considered in this budget as well. And an important aspect of the O&M budget is that there is a projected, as was mentioned, $2.4 million contribution to capital. It's important that we do that considering our ongoing infrastructure funding gap of $7.9 million per year. So we're endeavoring to do as much as we can to close that gap. Service level enhancements, there's strengthened staffing and resources for health and safety system, supporting employee and community safety. There's increased capacity for economic development, and also support for the Healthy Communities strategy and interagency coordination. As was mentioned, there's also cost savings. For instance, by bringing some contracted work in-house to reduce costs that way, lower landfill costs through the purchase of a compactor that was mentioned earlier. And also one thing we wanted to mention as well is that there are reduced utility costs under the new franchise agreement, which has led to some savings as well. So we wanted to highlight that for all the work that went into that. On slide 20, this is probably the most contentious slide of the whole thing, is the property tax revenue. So we just briefly want to talk about that for a minute. These are the proposed 2026 property tax rates, and as was mentioned, the Finance Committee deliberated over this extensively. After this deliberation, an overall increase of 4.03% was determined as being necessary. It includes a 3.5 increase to residential and then proportional increases to commercial, industrial, and institutional classes. This increase is not discretionary. It's required to keep pace with inflationary pressures that are affecting service delivery. It also ensures that we can continue to meet operational needs across all departments. And it will also help the town to maintain its ability to fund critical capital projects, given our long-term infrastructure gap of nearly $8 million per year. It also allows us to be able to respond to climate-related impacts, increased social needs, and external funding realities. So this measured increase enables us to balance affordability with the need to maintain essential services and sustainable long-term capital planning. Further on, when it comes to the revenue and expense trends, so at a high level, briefly, again, revenues decreased by approximately $612,000, primarily due to changes in grants and in land sale revenue. But on the other hand, expenses decreased, as was mentioned, by $764,000, which reflects efficiency gains, reduced contracting, reduced franchise costs, and in-house service delivery shifts. So overall, the town is maintaining a positive contribution to capital, ensuring future readiness. Slide 24 talks about our capital contributions, which continue to strengthen, up a couple $100,000 from 2025, which supports, again, the town's ability to plan responsibly for long-term infrastructure renewal. And slide 25 talks about that actual funding gap that's there. So we have a $79 million shortfall for our major capital projects over the next 10 years. The biggest challenge of that is the new water treatment plant, which is approximately $26 to $28 million. This reinforces why we need to contribute to the reserves as much as we can to be able to meet those needs. We are also pursuing third-party funding. We have an application before the federal government right now to be able to support that particular project. Then we go into the departmental operating budgets. These are a breakdown for each department that provide transparency on the operations for each department. Once again, the overall themes including enhanced health and safety, added capacity for economic development, climate adaptation planning, improved vegetation management, road and sidewalk resources, and the continued implementation of key plans like the housing strategy. And briefly going into the capital budget from slides 35 to 42, the 2026 capital budget includes $19.4 million in investment, supported by strong external funding. The key projects for next year include water, sewer, and drainage upgrades across multiple neighborhoods, Airport Road flood mitigation improvements, as was mentioned by our SAO earlier, Phase 1 of our new solid waste management facility, the West Channel Shoreline Flood Mitigation, is continuing and nearing completion with that. Development of a cemetery, as well as our nifty remediation. And then we do have some recreation upgrades, including parks, Inukshuk Park, as was mentioned, continuing work on the golf course in the Vail Island recreation area. There's also a project on the plan for a new enterprise resource planning system, which is an asset management system as well. We'll continue that, but those systems are aiming to improve efficiency and collaboration across our departments. So in conclusion, the 2026 budget is a careful balance of strategic investment, operational responsibility, and long-term sustainability. It advances council's strategic plans, strengthens our core services, and supports healthy communities and economic development, and manages costs through responsible in-house service delivery and franchise savings.
Thank you. Any questions for our Director of Finance? Corporate Services. I'm never going to get that. Corporate Services. No questions? Okay, I'm going to ask Councillor Dufert to read the motion, please. Since I skipped that earlier. Enthusiastic.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll read the recommendation that council accepts the 2026 O&M and capital budget as presented.
Thank you. And still seconded by Councillor Gagne. Any questions to the motion? Agreed to take forward? Agreed. Thank you. Okay, number 8 is notice of motions. Having none, we'll move on to item number 9. I have nothing in camera. Do you have anything in camera? No. Okay, so item number 10, Councillor Dufert.
I'll move that the special meeting of council be adjourned.
Thank you.